Yeah, hello viewers. Welcome to the show. Our first episode, and our first verse. We are going to be talking about poverty, and I have a team of members seated with me. They all look good. It's like they've not been under quarantine. Eh? Hey, how is everyone? Let's begin by our introduction. You tell us about yourself as we continue.
Okay, thank you so much, Confert. I'm Jovia um, from Cardinal Charity Foundation, and I'm happy to be here today to discuss about poverty. Thank you.
Yeah, she's Jovia.
Yes, my name is Darren, and I'm just here to enjoy the show, and you guys enjoy the show and learn more about what we're going to talk about. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Jamila, a member of Cardinal Charity Foundation. I'm happy to be here to share with you guys everything about poverty.
Yeah. Members of Cardinal Charity Foundation. How do you feel to be in Cardinal Charity Foundation, people?
It's a good feeling. Yeah, it's wonderful being in a charity organization. Yeah.
So today we came up with the topic. Well, like when we look at how things are moving on nowadays, some people are well off and other people they are not neglected, but they have some conditions they live in, and within these conditions, poverty. We want to talk about poverty. How do we really understand poverty?
Well, to me, in my own simple understanding, I think poverty is if you lack the basic necessities of life. Yes, that is poverty basically.
Yeah. Basic necessities of life.
Yes, basic necessities. You know, when we're in primary, they used to talk about basic necessities of life. We have education, shelter, food. Which other one? Yeah, those ones. So if you lack, if you don't have a shelter on your head when it gets dark, or maybe when it's raining, anytime, if you don't have a place where you call home and you feel you're secure, just know you're poor. If you cannot afford 1 meal a day, then it means you're under the poverty line. Yeah. You're above the poverty line.
Darren, highlight about poverty. Let the viewers understand what really poverty is. According to you, according to Jovia, she's like, poverty is when someone lives under a condition, and under this condition you are unable to have the basic necessities of life. The necessities of life, things like shelter, things like meals, things like of that kind. How do you understand poverty?
Yes, well, to me, poverty is actually is a state where you feel like someone not having enough material possessions for personal or person's basic needs, where you cannot manage yourself, like you cannot even manage to pay yourself anything, to pay for anything. Are you getting me? It's like when anything that you want to access, you need to pass through a lot of struggle. That means that's kind of poverty we're talking about, where you find like people cannot manage to buy themselves food, clothing, and some other materials. So that is poverty that I understand.
Yeah. Everyone has to tell us about it. And I think these ones have shared almost the same idea.
For me, about poverty, I say poverty is a state whereby a person is lacking financial resources, unable to live a standard of living.
Okay, and unable to have that.
Unable to have it.
Yes. Yeah, that's good. I think that's poverty.
Yeah.
Do we think poverty exists in different forms?
Yeah, of course. Poverty exists in so many forms. For example, for if you live in town, the poverty you're going through is not the same poverty as someone who is deep down in the village. Because you'd realize that the necessities you want are not the same as someone in the village. For example, you could, if you're in town, basically you have to pay rent. And someone, if you cannot afford rent, you're poor in that way. But you'd find that someone is very poor in the village, but that person has a house because he's at his parents' place, and therefore the house is already there. Yeah.
Yes.
So poverty differs so much.
It differs so
because it may be like poverty may be in like three elements. Like three elements. Here I mean like social, economic, and political. So those are the elements that I understand that categories of poverty. So social here we mean like this is where you cannot manage yourself even to appear in the crowd because you know
To meet
your
the social
standard.
standards.
Your social standards, yeah.
It's like you're keeping in isolation.
Yeah, you keep on like having stigma, self-stigma.
You feel like you can't fit in the society.
Yeah, you cannot fit in the society. Of course, sometimes you find like, you know, when we attend like weddings, you find like people they are given cards. So you find for you they did not give you a card according to your standard, and you cannot even manage to reach the gate. You cannot attend, of course,
Yeah.
because of your standard. So that's poverty we are talking about also.
Still to continue with the poverty, because poverty, I think poverty in most communities, poverty is becoming something big. Do we think someone under poverty really understands that they're in poverty?
Yeah, of course. Some people can know that they're in that condition and they have nothing. Definitely, someone is very comfortable. Those people can, let's say, maybe you're born from a family whereby your parents were poor, so it becomes generation. They even don't know what to do. Even if they admire, they really have nothing much they can do.
Yes, because there are some people who believe actually they think poverty is a curse.
They think
like,
poverty is a
yeah,
curse.
it is a curse, and they don't have like they don't feel like they can fight it. Say poverty is there in our family, so no one can fight it.
So it becomes
Eh,
psychological.
our grandmother, our grandparents failed to fight it. Who are you to fight it? So you find like
So they're like psychologically, we are born poor. We are supposed to be poor.
and we
Showers
are going to live in
remain
such a situation until the end of our
I don't
lives.
think that's something good. Huh?
Yeah.
If someone says I'm to be poor, do you think poverty is a choice?
Of course not.
No.
But actually, at some point, you find like at some point it's a choice. Some people might choose to be poor, huh? Because you know people inherit a lot of things, as we understand the way how the world is moving.
You want to talk about African science, African technology.
So you find like if we were born, if we do this and this, something will happen to the family. So we have to stay like this. There are people who go in churches, but they don't have shoes. They don't put on shoes. They say we were told this and this. If we put on shoes, this will happen. So there are some people who think like, if I buy a car, it will be the end of me. So you find like,
so they bring religion.
they say,
they bring religion.
we have
they have something.
Yes, we have misconception.
Misconception.
There are things that people think that they are real and then they are not real.
So it can either be by choice.
Sometimes at some point, some people.
I think it may not be by choice.
Yeah.
Someone just lacks the ability to understand how to overcome it. I think.
Yeah, but to some cases you can think
There are
that.
some factors behind that.
Yeah, there could be factors.
Okay. Yeah, poverty. When we look at poverty.
For example, if we Confert, if we look at ghettos, people are born there, they are poor, they find the condition is just like that. It's not by their own choice that they want to be in that, but they are born there, they are sidelined from the city, good things are just bypassing them, and you realize they are just poor.
They are just poor. But this one was like, it's not a choice. You didn't go with it as a choice.
Yeah, it's not a choice.
It's really not a choice. Yeah. How has poverty, according to our understanding, the little understanding we have about poverty, how has poverty really affected us, our communities, either urban or rural? You understand? How has it affected us? When we look at it on a large scale. On a large scale, how has poverty affected us? Okay, it can be on a small scale, on the low communities. How has poverty really affected? Has it affected us? Do we have some effects of poverty? Do we have some? Has poverty affected some people?
Where there is poverty, there is no change and there is no development. So that means we need a lot to be changed in that community where you see that there is a lot of people who are living in such a condition. This is where you see people calling the government
Don't you think this one even affects our minds?
Yeah, definitely. Imagine what it does to your emotions when you see your neighbors, they are all cruising in Prados, they are closing their gates, and now for you in the center of them, meaning they are all waiting for you to be like,
But-
I am selling my place to live.
But the issue,
So there's a way it does with your psychology. There's a way it affects you.
poverty affects actually you even mentally. Some people whom you see they are mad because of that condition. You end up being mad. When you start like looking for food, you find like the whole day you haven't eaten anything. So you start walking on the way. If you find anything, you can just pick it and eat. Yeah.
To make a living.
Mentally, you start like going off.
Has it caused some positivity? Do we have some good things from poverty? Do you think
I would say I would say yes. You know why? When you see someone actually who is poor, the condition that person is in, this really teaches you. It is a learning situation. This one teaches you
To be
and
hardworking.
you start hard working, and you also like fighting for yourself so that you cannot be the way that person is in. Yeah? Like in that situation, like you are fighting hard. So it is, they say we learn from experience. What you don't go through, you cannot learn from it.
Yeah, and actually to add on him, if what you can learn from poverty, if I am poor and they have a couple of children in my compound, I wouldn't wish to see them being poor. In other words, I'll have to make sure I make their life somehow different from what life I've done.
So poverty.
So if it means equipping my children with discipline, so that maybe someone out there would come and help them, I can do it. It humbles you. Poverty humbles you so much.
So I to the people who really understand that poverty is existing, poverty can be like a step over stone
Yes.
towards overcoming it, or preventing themselves into it. It can be a step over stone. You'll be like, I can't be like that. And it's because it's poverty that opens your mind. You're like, hey, I can't be like this. So it can, but I really don't think poverty is good. It's bad.
Yeah, with poverty, you are ignorant. With poverty, you have no choice. With poverty, you have no say. You cannot even call a person and someone responds. If you stand in the corner and you say something, say down. If you talk about like something that is development, they say, which development have you made in your community or at your home? And actually, if you don't fight poverty when you are still at the age where you're supposed to be,
You still have the energy.
They say when you reach actually the age of future, it is 40 years. If you reach 40 years
And you have
minus, and you haven't actually fought for your future, you will never. You're already in your future and you have nothing.
You have nothing.
Yes. So actually, to encourage other people is to be strong enough and really work hard so that we can fight poverty, and also come up with some plans that can also support those people who are poverty. You find like poverty comes with people don't call poverty. It brings itself. It's not like HIV when you are going to sleep with someone and you get HIV. So poverty, you find like there is when you find children, they lost their parents when they were still young, and you find a child looking after a child.
We call that situational poverty.
So
Something that has just come in.
And that's the worst, where you find a child looking after a child. That level.
Something that has just been set on.
Yes,
it might have been there.
Yes, it have been like designed. We can't say we designed it, or it have been designed by God or what, because losing parents, it's not something. It's not a choice. But this is where I say that we need to come up and support such people. But for me, I cannot actually. I cannot ask someone to come and support a family where you find the father is there, the mother is there with their children. Then you say you're going to support that family because they are poor. They have to work unless they are disabled. If they are not, no way. So we need to come up and really find a way.
Whatever we have, whatever little we have.
We can overcome it. That's what you want to talk about.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, poverty. I think in the next
Like
episode,
supporting them.
I think
that's
you've
the
given us
reason.
the starting point of our next episode. When we come back for the next episode, we shall be talking about how different organizations, governments have tried to overcome poverty.
Then there, Actually, I'm not afraid to say this. There are some organizations, a lot of organizations. You know, we have a lot of organizations. They are dealing with HIV and poverty. You know, obviously, orphans and vulnerable children. A lot of organizations that are dealing with that. But you find like most of the organizations, they are just using those people, show that they are supporting them, and yet they are just achieving their own goals. Are you getting me?
So
Someone
I
has
think,
a potential.
I think
We have a lot.
conclude.
Yes.
That's what we shall begin with.
Yes.
The next verse of this
And
episode.
we must fight that.
We must fight that. So we shall understand how poverty is increasing in different parts of the world, from the rural to the urban, and we see the measures that have been taken to overcome this poverty. Because we found out that poverty is not really a choice. No one can love being poor, but because of ideology, as she said, ideology, you may not understand the ways of getting out of poverty. So I think in the next episode we shall be talking about how to overcome poverty and how different ministries have tried to help in overcoming poverty. Thank you very much, viewers, and in our next episode we shall be continuing. This is called Cardinal Charity Foundation, and these are the members giving views about poverty, and I think we shall host other people other than this. I think will I have time to meet you again?
Of course.
Of course, I would say I love this program, The Fantastic Four. It shouldn't end from here.
Yeah.
Let it continue, because people are learning a lot from it. We are encouraging people, we are teaching people, and people are learning a lot. The Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
I really
Okay. We can say the last word to the viewers.
If you don't plan for your future, poverty will plan it for you.
Well, we are the Fantastic Four, and today we are here at Karunji, and we are so happy to be with you here today, and bye-bye.
Bye.